Flint knock out into the zone there, but can he cover himself? 7 HP. Oh! Mega drops down to catch those pellets. Make sure you're abusing that right-hand advantage. If you have it, you can't give it up, or you can't have it and then not use it. Otherwise, you don't have an advantage. But now, the other half of the Dubs Mega pairing trying to push in here, has full qualified already for the solos and duos, and is now trying to put a little pressure on this player on the outside.
One step closer, he did take the wall. He doesn't even know it was his cone too. Did try to combat it, and Flint follow up Frosted. It was just too fast. Mega was just too fast for him to react. He was one step ahead of him every single moment, in every single moment of that battle right there.
Man, it must feel awful to just get victimized by Mega and Dubs.
I would be so upset to go against one of these guys. They're too quick. Literally
they're just very, and we talk about like what makes some of these players good. In some circumstances, they do everything right. Sometimes they're just very good and they're fast. Like that would be what I say kind of Mega, Dubs, Benji, Fishy, Mr. Savage. Well, they all have like certain types of traits about them, the certain things they do well. Yes, they're all incredibly fast-paced players with everything they do. And in and of themselves, that's almost their defining trait. The quickness at which they do everything. Beating somebody in Fortnite to the punch by a quarter of a second is enough for a shot. If you're doing that every single time, you're getting their wall every single time because you're that much faster, then you're going to be able to snowball those advantages, compound them into something better. That's why the best of the best are so consistent.
As we focus in on Mega here, let's see what he's going to do. We have praised him enough on how quick he is. He's at 14 eliminations. If you don't believe us by now, you're crazy. You don't get that high, that aggressive in finals. Guys, mind you, this is everything on the line for New York City, right? Potentially. And he just pushes through. Just goes all the way through, no hesitation. That's one. Someone else does join the battle here. Finds him as well. Quick little flick right there.
That was just gross.
16 elims.
He hit the Flint knock headshot. I was honestly like, I half thought he was gonna push in for the pickaxe. The Flint knock will do the 180 if you get that full headshot there, but instead sticks with the combat and then picks up the nice little double. But now it needs to be careful of the 6. Good job getting up 2 blocks, and then luckily, as he pops the shadow, the shots miss towards the door. So, you know, sometimes you gotta make your own luck. Mega catching it right there is going to put down the campfire as well as the 2 minis. If you blinked, you might have missed it, but he's now in the center of his zone, boxed up, campfire one side, launch pad in the zone next to him, and now reloading all of his weapons, ready for the next rush.
Yeah, he did manage to drop the Flint and pick up a grenade launcher. Interesting to see how that's gonna play out here in this end game, because it's not typical you see someone have a grenade launcher towards these congested zones. But this is the perfect time to use all these shadow bombs, guys. Just keep him in the game and rotating. He is on someone's heels right here. He was really trying to get that elim right there, chasing him all the way up.
And one thing that's super important to note there, notice how he didn't jump or double jump or wasn't sprinting. He was literally walking directly behind the player. Any of those other movement options would have given away, and the player would have known, would have had an opportunity to box him in, potentially trap him out. That's what we talk about when we say do all of the little things right. You might not think about it. You might think, oh, I get the double jump. I better use it. No, players adapt. They've gotten used to it. They know to look for the smoke trails, to just throw bullets towards it and to hope to get it. But Mega going one step farther, and he still has 2 more, enabling him so much. And here go the grenades. Will we see Mr. Savage 2.0, who is the best billiard player in NA? He fires all of them down low, and no ticks coming through yet.
But the pressure of the explodes, the sounds, it's as much of a mind game as it is the whole psych just to kind of connect here. So let's see what Mega's gonna do. He's looking for the elims down low. He doesn't care about who's up above. He's trying to inch his way down here. Just taking a little bit more control of this layer. He doesn't have any movement, any freedom space here. He's gonna find Dream TV.
Wait. That was a grenade tag. It had to have been. He hasn't shot anybody else in the last minute. So he had to have hit somebody with a grenade, gets Flint knocked out into the zone there, but can he cover himself? 7 HP. Oh! Mega drops down. Winteroo, you can go back. It's the time of summer, and it's the time of FaZe Mega. What a sick edit and sick play. Now up to 107 effective HP. Papa Eggy on the high ground. Hoffner gets personally victimized by Mega, like basically the rest of the entire lobby, up to 19 elims. But now on the low ground, Shadow Bomb comes out from Eggy. Hot feet for Mega, hot feet for Eggy, but he's in the shadow, and Mega finds him. He finds him because he jumped, monster.
I don't know how he just did that, but he managed to really pull through and clutch up at the end. That was as close as we've ever seen it, and that was a 20 elimination game there.
30 points for Mega. We saw him at 7 HP. Again, I cannot stress it enough. If you're watching and you want to get better at Fortnite,
imagine dropping a 20 bomb.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine dropping a 20 bomb in any game. Like, I think I've had a 20 bomb once, maybe, in a pub.
And you got to think, too, that's going to affect Smack's potential leaderboard setup, right? Maybe that shuts him down, and maybe that could have been his last game. We don't know how that's going to affect the standings until we take a look later on. Don't forget, there's only the 6 spots here.
Listen, at least Golden
That
Boy's,
was insane.
At least Golden Boy is not here to call him smoke, is all I'm saying. JDW in your feed, picking off Complexity's Macwood. 46 players now. That's a very early elimination for the player from Complexity. Sentinel's Animals, 0 eliminations, 63 builds. Some minis, some shadow. We're starting to see a trend. Let me just put this out there, and you let me know if you agree or not.
All right.
Consistency across the board for loadouts is typically combat shotgun, an AR of some sort,
right?
1 or 2 mobility items, and a heal. And
yes.
if it's not 2 mobility items, it's only 1. I would say potentially 2 heals, and then the last utility slot, you could, if it's not 2 heals, you could say is a heavy sniper or flintlock.
Yes. So typically
like
we're
every
seeing
single loadout.
Pretty much exactly that. So it's either going to be 2, like let's say it's like a rift, some kind of mobility, 2 heals. Sometimes we see people, even if they're lucky to find them along the game, we've seen people with like 6 half shields, right?
Oh, yeah.
2 whole slots dedicated to 3 half shields apiece. And then you're like, oh, this guy just wants to fight the whole time.
I want to make a point, too, so that it's not misconstrued what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that everyone runs the exact same thing all the time because it's the only thing to run. I'm saying people are running the same consistent builds because consistency is huge in a BR game. And if you have a loadout that is consistently showing top performance, players are going to favor it. That's something to take note of if you're trying to step your own game up. Maybe you're not going to make it to this World Cup, but I guarantee you there's going to be events from Epic for Fortnite in the future. This ain't the end, believe me. And so learning those kind of setups and watching how the meta changes as the game evolves. I mean, we're getting updates that change things weekly. So you have players every single time that they're, and this has been, at this point, y'all, if you have not accepted that is Fortnite, you need to just accept that that's Fortnite. Now, let's all finally settle and say, yes, it is a game that includes an evolution of meta constantly, which means the players are constantly being pushed to try and figure out how to play the next setup the best. And that's good. You want that because I'm gonna be very honest with you. From a spectator side, I feel like potentially a level of staleness would happen if you're like, all right, we're back to a pump shotgun and an SMG to swap to. Pump shotgun, SMG to swap to. I feel like the combat shotgun has created more opportunities for back-to-back-to-back eliminations. You see Fiber going down there to Animal. It's just a situation where the game is trying to evolve in a way that makes it more representative of higher skill players and less representative of this guy is really good at the one thing all the time. You want to see people that can do it all.
Right.
You want the jack of all trades players to shine because they're the ones that have really put in a crazy amount of effort. They have skill, the knowledge to pick up everything about the game that they can as it changes. Sorry, I'm so long-winded about this. I'm very passionate about competitive Fortnite.
Yeah.
It's become such a big piece of what I do and what you do, especially you. I mean, you've been around for a long time.
Just about the beginning. Just about.
Exactly. And so it's like, it's just one of those things I want to see the game evolve and grow in a healthy way. And I know there's some people that are not happy with how the game is now, but you have to at least admit, those people have to at least admit that they're happy with the way that, I mean, an esport has continued to evolve. It has. It's undeniable.
Yeah, sure. And maybe just to like expand upon that just a little bit more. You know, Fortnite is an ever-evolving game. And, you know, it is a battle royale, and there is some kind of randomness involved in that, right? Like, you land in a POI, and there's some form of random
But you
loot
can
generated.
harness that.
Correct, and it's why these players excel is because they can minimize that randomness factor, right? Like you said, their consistency. What can they do to minimize that randomness and give them an edge, which then propels them forward and continues moving forward? Unknown, great example. He knows what he does best. His rifling skills, his combat skills, his long-range shots. He's in a great position to do this, right? He didn't just land on this loadout. He worked for this loadout. He said, where do I need to go? When do I need to fight? Do I need to fight now?
To get it?
Exactly. There's so much. Like, on the surface, Fortnite may seem like, I guess, borderline one-dimensional, kind of, but there's actually so much depth to the game.
I wouldn't even say on the surface it seems that way. You've got building and shooting and strategic positioning.
Yeah,
there's a lot to it.
Elevation, game changes, what you land with, you know, how you're feeling on the day, what your skills are like, where you've spent your time. Have you done your shooting practice? Have you gone into playgrounds before then to practice up your building skills? There's so much. This is why I love Fortnite, dude. You're gonna make me nerd out, and we're gonna have long conversations about this.
This has been Deep Thoughts with Lupo and Zeke. Meanwhile, top 5 situation. My apologies for all that. Unknown from KNG with 6 eliminations. 19 builds. That Rift may or may not come into use here. It'll be tough to know just yet. TJ, the ultimate low ground. We're already in the top 3. The swap there, Baltic, Dylan, Glow Navy going down outside in the storm. Unknown dropping in and challenging Jfree, but he actually gets dropped all the way to the bottom. Stuck top to bottom of TJ.
Oh my!
Box, the traps.
Oh my gosh, he
Elimination,
completely shuts down Jfree. But look at the health difference. If he's not careful, dude, and they spend time in the storm, Jfree has health advantage. He's got to be really careful how he approaches this.
The slurp, though, Unknown could potentially pop it. Should here momentarily, I almost anticipate. Here we go.
Do you think he just waits for him to drop down and try and riffs him and hopes that the slurp is enough to tick him over?
We'll see. Moving with the storm, Jfree in the ultimate high.
He's still ticking
13. Up. No builds for Unknown. He's going to have to... Yep, there we go. The shots. Combat shot coming from underneath. Can't quite connect.
20.
Does not tick out to the storm. Instead, finds a shot on Jfree. The celebratory rift to go into the sky. Unknown, well played. No builds left. No problem.